Hello to all our friends out there from the Financial Advisory Group. I think I wanted to say happy spring, but as we sit here today and it's about 35 degrees outside and windy and cold, it doesn't really feel too much like spring these days. We'll get to market thoughts in a little bit, but the market sort of feels like the spring weather where it can't decide if it wants to be spring yet or wants to head back to winter. It's just lost. But before we get into that fun stuff, just wanted to pass on some news here at the office that, as we all know, Sharon left the firm earlier this year to be closer down to her parents down in Myrtle Beach. We can report she's doing great, enjoying her time down there, landed on her feet. And as I saw her the other day on a Zoom call, she looks pretty happy close to the beach. So continue to wish the best to Sharon, and we miss her much. On the good news side of things, it did take us a little bit of time, but we found her replacement here at the office. Her name is Julie, and we hope that all of you will be hearing from her in one way or another in the coming weeks, months, quarters ahead. So please be very receptive and welcoming to Julie, as we've loved having her here as a part of the team for the last month or so. And like we said, we really look forward to everyone having the chance to meet her. Well, instead of me passing on information about Julie, you know what we decided to do? She was so excited to have a video of her own to tell us a little bit about herself. So what I'll do now is turn it over to Julie, and then we'll come back to me and give some little thoughts on the market right now and sort of where we think things are and where we think we're heading. Julie, take it away.
Hello, my name is Julie Welchko, and I am so excited to have joined the Financial Advisory Group family. I currently reside in Spring Grove with my wonderful husband Craig and our three amazing children, Maya, Mason, and Madden. We are originally from Ohio, just outside Cleveland, where the rest of our family currently resides. Go Browns! As a family, we like to create arts and crafts. We also like to go swimming, go to the movies, and play with our pug, whose name is Pugsley Piggles. Everyone I have met so far in the Financial Advisory Group family has been extremely kind and welcoming. I am so honored to be able to work for such a caring and compassionate organization. I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you personally, and you will be hearing from me soon. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks, Julie. And again, welcome to the Financial Advisor Group team. We're so glad to have you on board. Now, to the fun stuff. We warned back in December, and I think we sent another warning back out in January or February about buckling those seatbelts because we thought the market was probably going to be a little bit volatile this year. Well, it might have been an understatement. The good news is this is just volatility, right? The hard part is it's easy to say that. It's hard to live through it. In today's world, it seems like there's almost always a reason to sell, always a reason to be worried, always a reason to get out of the market. So what we wanted to do was sort of go through some of this and give you some of our perspectives. And if you look at the screen here, you will see basically if you go back about 10, 15 years, there has always been a reason to sell on any given day based on what the news was. And if you look up at the top, we have a very well-known saying that there's always a reason to sell, but ultimately, bull markets climb walls of worry, and over the longer term, bear markets can represent generational buying opportunities. So there's two words in there, right? That word bear is in there. Technically, we haven't hit a bear yet. If it happens, it creates opportunities. It's something that lets us make investments and make decisions that help us build opportunities, as we've said in the past, plant some trees that will help us in the future. But bull markets climb walls of worry. So if you look back over this 10 to 15 year period, we probably forgot about a lot of these things that happened, from fiscal cliff talks to that powerful earthquake that hit Japan, to the S&P actually downgrading the US debt, which was huge news at the time. Now we forget that even happened. And back in 2015, the first time the Dow ever fell 1,000 points in one day. So big things happen, right? The news gets thrown in front of us all the time. The key is we need to make good decisions, stick to the plan, and not try to get so caught up in the news of the day. The hard part that we'd point out is that even if someone told you all of the things that were going to happen in the next 12, 24 months, would you make the right investment decisions? This one's a little interesting to think through. So the chart in front of us here shows from March 13th of 2020. Why did we pick that date? As I like to view it, that's basically the day the world shut down from COVID. That was the last day kids were sent home from school, businesses shut down, people didn't go back into work. And if you said to someone on March 13th, let me tell you all the events that will unfold in the next 2.5 years, and then at the end of this, I want you to tell me if we should invest or not, right? That COVID, this thing called COVID, is going to hit the world and basically shut down businesses, schools, sporting events for 6, 12, 18, 24 months, that people will still not be returned to work who started work, who have worked in an office for their whole lifetimes and careers. At the same time, you're going to have sports like the NBA, even March Madness, get completely canceled. As we go further through the year, you're going to go through an election between Biden and Trump that, no matter how you look at it, was definitely different in one of the most sort of vocal elections we've ever been through, also contested. At the end of that, starting in January 2021, there was also the insurrection at the Capitol. And no matter how we feel about it, if I would have said to you, hey, there's going to be people storming the Capitol building, throwing chairs through windows, breaking in down the building, it wouldn't seem like a time that we'd want to be investing. On top of that, what's also going to happen is the Fed is going to raise interest rates for the first time in a long time, and the market's going to be scared of that. On top of that, you will also have Russia invade Ukraine at the end of this 2.5 year period. Doesn't this sound like a good time to invest? I think if we were all honest and someone told us that on March 13th, we would have said, I'm not investing the next 2 years. I'm just going to sit in cash. But what we see if you look back is it's actually been a phenomenal time to be an investor, right? And we talked about that back in March of 20 is don't get distracted, put the headphones on. So the reason to show this chart is keep in mind, even if way back here in 2020, someone would have told us all the events that would have unfolded, we still would have made the wrong investment decisions because we let emotions rule the day. Not at the end of the day, what's important is that Microsoft, Amazon, Google are stronger companies today than they were 2.5 years ago. That's what the market cares about, not the emotional roller coaster we've been through as we've gone through this last 2.5 years of crazy activities all over the place. The most recent, obviously, being the crisis in Ukraine and Russia. And so we don't want to say that it's something we don't care about. The humane impact is unbelievable. We think and pray about the people in Ukraine all the time and the people of Russia. But from an economic, financial impact, we need to keep our emotions out of it and make the right decisions. To end on a little bit of a lighter note, we do think that every time things like this come up, we just always act like things like this have never happened before. So we'll go back to something we did early on in COVID and tie some songs into this. There's a little known band called Wilco that has a song, and the lyrics say, every generation thinks it's the end of the world. I think that's very true, right? Every time something happens, whether it's September 11th, whether it's the great financial crisis of 2008, whether it's the World Trade Center bombings from the 90s, whether it's, I'm sure, the Vietnam War or the Korean War or the Cold War or now Russia, Ukraine, every time something happens, we think it's the end of the world. Well, so far that hasn't happened yet, right? So we'd rather bet the other way and think we're going to get through this. What we don't know is how we're going to get through it, right? And I think the other song I'll tie into this is we always act like the world is crazier today than it's ever been. Well, there's another song I like to reference when we talk about that by a more known artist named Billy Joel. I think he wrote it in the 60s and 70s. And the song is titled We Didn't Start the Fire. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but if you go listen to the lyrics, you'll hear he talks about we didn't start the fire. It's been always burning and the world's been turning, right? So the world's always been crazy, right? Now we just tend to focus on it all the time. And if you go back and listen to the lyrics of the song, you'll hear he's talking, right? There's always been craziness going on. Now we just pay attention to that burn a lot more. What I'd say is true. We're still trying to put that fire out. We all want peace. We want a calm world. The sad part is, right, the world isn't the calmest place. But I think perception-wise, our lives hopefully are calmer than what we see on TV. Last, and I struggle to say this out loud, but I do believe it. There's a song from REM that's in the lyrics say, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. So the message I want to give across is I don't think it's the end of the world as we know it, but I do feel fine. I do think we have a lot to be thankful for. And yes, the world seems crazy today, but don't let that affect our investment decisions or realizing how good a position we are in a financial position today from where we thought we may be on March 13th of 2020 when the world really changed. So again, thank you to everybody. Thank you for all the trust and confidence you continue to place in us. It means the world. We want to welcome Julie to the team. We look forward to everyone hearing from her, meeting her, talking with her over the coming months and years. And hopefully the spring weather, just like the market has this last couple of weeks, starts turning around and we start getting some warmer weather coming our way. Thank you, everybody. Stay healthy, enjoy spring, and we can't wait to see you sometime soon. Stay healthy.